lot of news around the Marine Corps recently has centered on its long-term reorganization plan, known as Force Design 2030. But unit structures and equipment aren't the only things getting overhauled in coming years. Also on the list, installations. Recently, the Marine Corps put out another sweeping strategy report on its future, called Installations and Logistics 2030. Most of it's about how to modernize logistics, supplying and sustaining Marines, especially in contested zones. But it also talks about modernizing bases, from getting better barracks to protecting base infrastructure against climate change. A top priority, making bases more resilient. Not just to attacks from adversaries, though certainly that, but the Marine Corps also wants to make its bases better at bouncing back from cyber attacks and extreme weather events. One solution the Corps is exploring is 3D printing to replace base infrastructure that gets damaged, whether by a drone strike or a hurricane. But the service is also looking into preventing that damage in the first place. To prevent attacks, for instance, it wants to invest in anti-drone defenses. And to keep power running to base systems in any conditions, it's exploring alternative energy sources, like solar. Some capabilities, including people and equipment, may be too vulnerable where they are now and will simply have to move. But the Marine Corps hasn't yet provided specifics on what will have to move where. Finally, the Marine Corps says it wants its bases to be better places to live. On a recent call with reporters, one official said that's key for retaining Marines.
Quality of life is one of those pillars that we're really kind of needing to getting into. It's really kind of linked to retention because if we continue the quality of life of the young Marines, they're going to want to stick around. So when you think of quality of life, you think of the gyms, you think of the barracks. Barracks very much so at the forefront, as well as services and family housing and services you provide those families.
That sentiment was echoed in a recent hearing on Capitol Hill on troops' quality of life.
I've toured buildings, flight lines, hangars, and ships, and of course the barracks. It is clear to me that we must increase our investment in the quality of life of our Marines and all service members. As we approach the 50th anniversary of the all-volunteer force, the American people know that service is not given. In our society, that service is recruited, and we must increase the propensity, the desire to serve our nation. We need to make bigger strides in valuing our people. Many of our barracks are more than 30 years old and in need of repair and renovations. And I thank this committee for your attention and support in this endeavor. As all of us have mentioned during our travels, we spent a lot of time invested in seeing what the quality of life is for our service members. For myself, I was just at Camp Pendleton here a couple of weeks ago and touring barracks. Some barracks I'm actually familiar with because I either lived in them or had Marines live in them in recent years. I went to one building that the maintenance has been deferred for 12 straight years. 12 years to defer the maintenance on this one building that has Marines living in it. If we cannot improve the living conditions of those who raise their hand and serve in our services, we're probably going to see a decrement in one of the foundational elements of the all-volunteer force.
The Installations and Logistics report doesn't provide many specifics on how exactly the Marine Corps plans to improve quality of life on base. But we do know that the Corps is considering the possibility of building more barracks with help from the private sector. The report mentioned, as an example of privatized barracks, Pacific Beacon. That's a housing community for E-4 sailors in San Diego, boasting a rooftop pool and outdoor fire pits. Well, a Marine corporal can dream. Most of these changes will take a while. But for now, we have a general sense of what's ahead for the places where Marines and their families work and live. For Marine Corps Times, I'm Irene Lowenson.